Namaste. I wish you all a very happy, healthy, and harmonious Deepavali festival on behalf of Adhyatma Bharatam and Adhyatma Yoga. Friends, we are all celebrating this wonderful festival of Deepavali. For generations, we have been celebrating. This is a festival which brings joy for all of us. Children get excited because of the crackers. Women and elders get excited because of the sweets and other dishes which we prepare, and farmers and other people because of the fortune, the business which they can make. In its own ways, this festival is giving wonderful life for various people. But let's try to understand the background of this festival called Deepavali. Why do we celebrate this? In fact, in India, every day is a festival. Sri Purandaradasa says, Indina Dinave Shubhadinam. Every day is a festival because we are always in the presence of the auspicious divine. Every festival has a spiritual significance, it has a social significance, it has a psychological impact, it also has an ecological impact. We can bring it in multiple dimensions. So this festival, Deepavali, which is celebrated throughout the country, has its own methods of celebration in each and every state. Over and above, throughout the country, we celebrate it for a period of 3 days. In the north, it is extended to 4 days. One day prior to the main festival, in the north is called as Dhanteras, wherein they worship Lakshmi and Kubera. The day is also known as Dhanvantri Trayodashi because of the advent of the Lord Dhanvantri, who is considered to be the founder of the medical system called Ayurveda. We also yesterday had celebrated it this year as a Rashtriya Ayurveda Divas, thanks to the efforts of our Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi. After Trayodashi, which is the 13th day of the Krishna Paksha of the month called Kartika, the 14th day is what is called as Naraka Chaturdashi. The legend goes to the time of Bhagavata. Bhagavata is a Purana which gives us a wonderful note of all incarnations of Lord Vishnu, in which we get to see two incarnations, the stories of two incarnations connected with this particular celebration of Naraka Chaturdashi, which is the main festival of Deepavali. One of the incarnation is Varaha. We all know the story. To make the long story short, Hiranyaksha, an asura, a demon, had taken away Mother Earth to put her into a hidden place so that he can rule over the whole earth. And the Lord has to come in the form of a wild boar, Varaha, and then he brought the earth back by killing Hiranyaksha. In this process, Hiranyaksha was a demon, and Varaha had also taken a Rudravatara to kill him and then to bring back the earth. And Mother Bhumi also was in a fearful condition because she was captured by the asura called Hiranyaksha. In this whole process, as a result of it, there emerged another asura called Narakasura. This is the birth of him, Narakasura. He is also called as Bhaumasura in some Puranas, and he was supposed to be ruling the entire earth during that time. And he had been a great challenge for the Devas and for the Rishis and Munis, so that all of them went to the Lord to pray to him to rescue all of them from this demonic person called Narakasura. Narakasura also did a worse thing of going and enslaving women. 16,100 women, which includes the daughters of the Devatas, daughters of Rishis and Munis, and daughters of various kings and other normal people of this earth as well. 16,100 women were enslaved by Narakasura and kept under his control with a motive of attaining all of them for his happy life. And all these women and their parents were all praying to the Lord. None of them could do something against Narakasura to get these women back. Above everything, the Deva Mata called Aditi, who is the mother of all the gods, Even she was into trouble that she has to lose her divine earring which Narakasura had taken. And all of them had prayed to the Lord. By then the Lord has taken the complete Purnavatara called Shri Krishna Avatara. Rama's incarnation is connected with one Asura called Ravana. Whereas Krishna's Avatara, right from his birth to his Antardana, every day he had to do Dushta Nigraha, Sishta Paripalana, protecting the righteous people by winning over the wicked. Right from Putana Samhara, Chakatasura, Trinavarta, Kamsa and the Kauravas and various people have to be brought to an end by Sri Krishna. So one such person was Narakasura. Having heard of all the atrocities which Narakasura was creating, Krishna has to go to fight with him. The place where he was there is called Prak Jyotishapuram, today geographically connected with the northeastern states. Krishna, when he went there, had also taken along with him Satyabhama. Why? Again, there is a story behind this, that Narakasura, I told you he was born when Bhumi Devi was rescued by Varahavatara from Hiranyaksha. In this process, he was born. So he is obviously the son of Mother Bhumi Devi. And therefore, like any other asuras, like Ravana, like Hiranyakashipu, all these people, he also did penance to Brahma and then attained a boon. What was his boon? Again, he doesn't want to get killed by any people, but Brahma said nobody can escape from death. Yamasya karuna nasti. Therefore, you can ask for a condition for death. He thought, how would a mother kill a child? And therefore he said, if at all I have to be killed, if at all I have to face death, it is only by the hands of my mother. He thought Mother Bhumi Devi is known for her patience and she would not do anything for him. Imagine, in this modern world, we are trying our own level best to do utmost destruction to Mother Prithvi, but she is with utmost patience today, right? So she is known for the patience, so even Narakasura thought he would not be slain by the mother. Now Krishna came along with Satyabhama and both of them started fighting with the entire team of Asuras led by Narakasura. The first was Mura, who was killed, and therefore Krishna was called Murari. Now the war between Narakasura and Krishna started, and then Narakasura had shot an arrow because of which Krishna fainted. Seeing that Krishna fainted, Satyabhama got angry and then she took the bow and arrow and she started shooting at Narakasura, and Narakasura was brought to an end. And then at the last stage, with his life still in the verge of going away, Narakasura realized that Satyabhama was none other than his mother Bhuma Devi. When the Lord Vishnu incarnated as Sri Krishna, Lakshmi came as Rukmini and Bhuma Devi, Bhudevi came as Satyabhama. So Satyabhama is none other than the incarnation of his mother called Bhumi Devi. So that's how his boon got fulfilled, that he was killed by Mother Bhumi. Anyhow, at this last point, Narakasura, as his very word, as his very name indicates, Naraka is all wicked. Two things we all know, Swarga and Naraka. What is Swarga? It's nothing but some heavenly world or something. Whenever, wherever, whatever good things happen, that is what is Swarga. Whenever, whatever bad thing happens, that is what is Naraka. Even Puratarasa sings, Nanu Nannadu Yemba Naragadale Bittu. So Naraka is that selfishness which he had, that arrogance what he had, that ego what he had, that all those Asuri Sampat what he had. Dambo, Darbo, Vimanascha, Krodha Parushyamevach, Ajnanam Chapijatasya, Partha Sampadam Asuri. Krishna says, these are the demonic qualities which somebody has. And Narakasura was a combined embodiment of all this Asuri Sampat. Now he was killed by Mother Satyabhama along with the support of Sri Krishna, and he was lying in his last deathbed, where he realized that he had utmost power. But did he use his power for something good? No. He used it for all bad things, that he enslaved all the mighty gods even. He enslaved women, 16,100 of them, and then he tried to bring utmost nasha to the whole world. The power which he had, the knowledge which he had, he was fortunate enough to be the son of Mother Bhumi Devi. But he didn't use it for the good of the earth again. He was trying to destroy Mother Earth herself. So all this brought the end of his life, and therefore he wanted to give a lesson by his life to the world. He prayed to the Lord Krishna and Mother Satyabhama that let my death be celebrated and your victory be celebrated. My death being celebrated by the people, that let them understand that evil, wickedness will not have a long lasting life. And so the end of all the evil should be celebrated by the bursting of crackers. Crackers, when we burst, it is the subduing of our ego, our ahankara. That's what we do in Ramalila also during the Dashara. The Ravana's form is made with crackers and it is burnt and it is bursted. That is what we do for Deepavali also with Narakasura in all the form of the crackers, which is showing the finish of all the evil thoughts and deeds in us. And then the victory of the righteous is through attaining the jnana. In the end, Narakasura also realized that the divine wins. Divine will wins. So therefore the divine will, the divine knowledge, jnana, is what is indicated by lighting the lamps early in the morning. So how do we celebrate it? Early in the morning. Not even early in the morning, just before the early morning, which is before even the Brahmi Muhurta, before even 4 o'clock in the morning, we need to get up that particular day. That is the Asuri Muhurta. At that time we need to get up that day and have bath in the hot water. In hot water, the ancient scriptures are told that particular morning we would have the sanctity of Mother Ganga. Ganga is not just a physical river entity who is there, but she is again a concept. Ganga is purity embodied. So we think of Ganga and do her avahana, we invoke her in this vessel of water, hot water which we burn, and then we need to take bath in that for the removal of all the impurities. Purity of mind, purity of heart is what is called tapas. The Patanjali Yoga Sutra says, tapasat ashuddhi kshayaha jnana deeptihi. The dawn of light comes by removal of the impurities in us. So removal of impurity first in the physical level by having a good bath. So we have a Taila Snana with hot water. All herbal things are added to the hot water. It is all boiled nicely, and then we would have a nice oil bath. That is what today people go to spas and all those things and then take. But traditionally we had it happening in our own home during the festival of Deepavali. The elders would keep the oil in the head, and then we would have a good oil massage for the whole body, and then have this Taila Abhyantara Snana. And then after that we would have the new clothes, again indicating the purity of our physical body. And then we would have lighting of lamps, worshipping the divine deities, worship of the Kula Devata, worship of Lord Sriman Narayana along with Bhumi Devi and Sri Devi, and then bursting of the crackers, and then eating wonderful sweets to celebrate the victory of the good over the evil. In this also we have a tradition of having a lehya. A lehya is an Ayurvedic composition, a thick paste of various herbs which is made by the elderly women at home, and that is to be consumed early in the morning, because that day's schedule get changed. We are going to go and burst crackers, which is going to create a lot of smoke. We need to have the willpower to withstand the smoke, and therefore the lehya is given. We are going to have a lot of oily foods, special foods that day. Again, the digestion should be taken care, therefore the lehya is given. And then we take all the sweets and other prasada which is offered. This is the main way in which Naraka Chaturdashi is celebrated. Lights are lit all over early in the morning as well as in the evening. In the month of Kartik, which is going on, every evening's light will be lit, not the Chinese cereal bulbs. It is actually the diya which is lit. Imagine in this one festival how much of ecological significance is brought. This is Sharat Ritu, the season of autumn, in which we are moving towards the winter, the next season. So climate gets changed from the monsoon to the winter, autumn is in between. People feel slowly the chill of the weather, and therefore when the evening lights are lighted, which gives warmthness everywhere. In those days They didn't have all those electric bulbs and heaters and all those things. So naturally they could keep the environment warm. Also the evenings get advanced earlier, so darkness becomes more. So lights all over. Imagine every house would have a series of lights. Deepavali. This is, and therefore that would give enormous light for everybody to walk in a nice way with light everywhere in a nice way. So this is how ecological significance is there. This is how spiritual significance is there. This is how social and then psychological significance. People all feel happy getting together. Families which are split everywhere, people would have gone. They all gather at one place and then celebrate. So it is bringing the minds together. That's how it is celebrated in this festival of Deepavali. Coming back to the story of Narakasura, after the boon which he got, what happened to all the 16,100 women whom he had enslaved? One mother Sita's fate we know. Even Lord Sri Rama had to do the Agni Pravesha for Sita. The Agni Pariksha, she has to go through the Agni Pariksha. These 16,100 women tried going back to their homes. They were not accepted. People said, you had been with Narakasura in his jail. How can we accept you? So they had a problem. This was again a social problem, that these women could not get back their lives. It was Lord Shri Krishna in such a wonderful deed that he accepts all of them as his own Mahishis, as his own wives. And therefore Krishna has 16,100, and already he was married to the 8 Patta Mahishis of Rukmani, Satyabhama, Jambavati, Satya, Mitra, Lakshmana, Kalindi, Mitra. So along with them, Krishna's wives become 16,108 wives. So you may ask, what is this? Is it good that you can marry these many people? Right? You say that you should live like Rama with Ekapatni Vrata, but Krishna has married these many women. But friends, we have to understand, Krishna didn't do this as one man being all this. He was able to become 16,108 Krishnas and then simultaneously marry all of them. If you can take another form, you can marry one more woman. We find difficult to manage one wife, right? Or perhaps she would find difficult to manage you also. Whereas Krishna could do this, that shows that he is not an ordinary human. Krishnastut Bhagavan Swayam. This is again a philosophical concept. All these women are the Jivatma, the individual soul, and Krishna is Paramatma. In yoga, we say yoga is the union of the Jivatma with Paramatma. Krishna marrying all the 16,108 women is to indicate this Jivatma Paramatma Aikya. That is how we need to look into that. He was capable of doing mighty things. Look at him as a just boy of 6 years. He could lift the Govardhan and hold it for 7 days. If you can hold a table for 1 full day without putting it down, you can also marry 2 more ladies. So this is how we need to look into the divine aspects of Krishna's quality here, and also the social thought with which he could empower the women, with which he could give them a new life, with which he could bring an end to the evil deeds of Narakasura and then bring the divine power into action. So Deepavali, the first day Dhanteras, the second day Naraka Chaturdashi is what we celebrate. The third day will be Amavasya, about which we will try to learn again. Dhanyavad.